Have you ever felt your heart crack when they go silent? When you type each message, hesitating with every word, only to be met with radio silence? Time seems to freeze, and you frantically search for explanations. Did I say something wrong? Am I asking for too much? But the truth is, none of that is your fault. These are the unmistakable signs of avoidant attachment, where every time you reach out emotionally, they retreat, erect invisible walls, and leave you stranded in the cold shadow of their distance. In today's society, we glorify connection, posting couple selfies, sharing romantic highlights. Yet behind those picture-perfect moments, countless people are sacrificing their empathy, accepting loneliness just to keep a one-sided relationship afloat. They stay silent when intimacy calls, claim to be too busy whenever you seek closeness, and turn love into a conditional privilege they alone decree. According to John Bowlby, the pioneering psychologist behind attachment theory, not everyone is wired for security and love. Some grew up in environments where expressing needs was deemed wrong. Others were betrayed and learned that withdrawal is the only shield left to safeguard the heart. The result? Those around them, the ones yearning for mutual understanding and shared vulnerability, end up bearing heavy emotional scars. If you're reading this, you've likely felt the sting of abandonment within what you believe to be a safe harbor. Take a moment to recognize their silence isn't proof of your unworthiness. It's an alarm bell signaling that it's time to rebuild your boundaries and reclaim yourself. This is the moment to awaken, to seize control of your emotions, and to prepare for a new kind of connection, one that is secure, resilient, and wholeheartedly yours. Sarah and Mike met at an art opening where Mike immediately captivated attention with his warm smile and thoughtful conversation. In the early days, he listened intently as Sarah shared her dream of touring Europe, asked about her family, and even remembered small details like her favorite pastries. Sarah felt she had found a soulmate, someone who could embrace every emotion she offered without judgment. However, within weeks, whenever Sarah tried to go deeper to share a hidden fear or ask Mike whether he truly saw her as a life partner, Mike steadily pulled away. He'd change the subject abruptly, respond half-heartedly, or simply retreat into silence. Once, in the middle of a childhood story, Mike got up to get a drink and vanished in the kitchen for over an hour. Sarah sat there, heart pounding, wondering, am I asking too much? Am I too emotional? Is something wrong with me? The feeling of emptiness accumulated. Each time Sarah attempted to open her heart, Mike took another step back, erecting invisible walls between them. He didn't flat out refuse. He hid, delicately ignoring messages, converting video calls into brief voicemails, or claiming he was swamped with work whenever Sarah suggested weekend plans. Initially, Sarah soothed herself with the thought that Mike simply needed personal space. But as these episodes multiplied, she began to doubt her own capacity for connection. This is the essence of avoidant attachment: craving intimacy yet fearing dependency, longing for closeness while recoiling at the prospect. According to Azan and Shaver's foundational research, about 25% of adults fall into this attachment style, oscillating between the desire for intimacy and the urge for distance. For Sarah, Mike wasn't intentionally hurting her, yet his small actions, hanging up when she called via video, canceling at the last minute, created a bitter emotional loop. Sarah reached out more, and Mike only withdrew further. Lacking clear explanations, Sarah floated in a sea of speculation. Does Mike not love me enough? Have I done something to push him away? Every conversation froze her in place. Sarah feared that if she pressed Mike to open up, he would leave. Conversely, if she suppressed her needs, she resigned herself to quiet loneliness. The invisible gap not only eroded their sense of security, but also undermined Sarah's self-trust. She questioned her inner voice, doubted the validity of her emotions, and found herself engulfed in loneliness despite her desperate longing for a supportive embrace. Sarah and Mike's story is not a solitary case, but a mirror reflecting millions of people in modern American society, individuals torn between the need for connection and the fear of being consumed by intimacy. When avoidant attachment becomes a defense mechanism, It inadvertently steals the chance for genuine love and leaves behind profound emotional wounds. Following Sarah and Mike's story, where genuine attempts to connect were met with silence, avoidance, and walking away, we need to delve into 5 chilling but incredibly common patterns in avoidant attachment. These behaviors aren't random outbursts, but systematic psychological tactics designed to gradually erode trust and the partner's faith in intimacy. First is emotional disappearing acts. When Sarah opened up about her fears or sought reassurance, Mike didn't respond with comforting words or empathetic eyes. He disappeared, vanishing in text messages, dropping calls mid-conversation, even walking out of the room. The result left Sarah abandoned in a sea of doubt, blaming herself for being too needy or overly sensitive. In reality, this stems from avoidance childhood experiences, where expressing needs often led to being ignored or criticized. Neuroscientist Sue Johnson notes this response is a defensive survival strategy. They protect themselves from further hurt by not having to meet others' needs. Next is stonewalling as control. Beyond silence, they erect emotional walls through crossed arms, distant gazes, and curt replies. When Sarah tried to delve deeper, Mike didn't argue, he turned away, leaving her like a mine bumping against a concrete barrier with no escape. John Gottman identified stonewalling as one of the 4 horsemen predicting relationship breakdown. For avoidance, if they refuse engagement, they can't lose, and you're left feeling defeated. Then comes devaluing intimacy. Whenever Sarah spoke of her feelings, Mike would quip, "You're overthinking," or "It's not that deep," accompanied by a dismissive laugh. These belittling remarks gradually led Sarah to doubt her own perceptions and chastise herself for not being stable enough. According to Bartholomew and Horowitz, avoidance learned to downplay attachments as a shield against disappointment. If you deny its importance, you minimize potential pain. Following that is hyper-independence. Mike frequently asserted, "I don't need help. Don't worry, I've got this," then made decisions entirely on his own. Consequently, Sarah felt like a housemate rather than a partner. This mechanism arises from the flawed belief that relying solely on oneself prevents hurt if you depend on no one. No one can let you down. Finally is conditional affection. Only when Mike felt ready would he send caring texts or invite her out, creating a sense of merciful love. But if Sarah took the initiative, he'd remain unresponsive. This love on his timetable kept her chasing hope all day, never knowing when or if he'd allow her close. By dispensing affection selectively, Mike maintained the upper hand. She dared not ask for more for fear of losing the scant affection he offered. Overall, these 5 patterns are not random missteps, but tactics of avoidant attachment, a blend of fear of dependency and the drive for emotional dominance. Only by clearly identifying them can you set healthy boundaries, respond constructively, and steer your relationship toward mutual security and respect. When the 5 avoidant patterns, from sudden emotional disappearances to invisible walls, devaluing intimacy, hyper-independence, and conditional affection, repeat often enough, they cease to be mere personal quirks or momentary bad habits. They become an emotional prison where you learn to apologize simply for craving connection, to silence your needs so as not to provoke the walls your partner has erected, and ultimately to shrink yourself just to avoid causing any pressure. Your relationship then transforms into a draining dance. You sense distance and reach out. They pull away whenever you draw near, and both of you end up trapped in helplessness and standoff. What's alarming is that this isn't a random escape. It's a loop that grows harsher over time. You mute your inner voice, deny your emotional needs, to the point of forgetting that you have the right to express them. You begin to wonder if you have become outdated in their eyes, or if you are simply too fragile and weak. From once being the partner who openly shares and listens, you turn into someone afraid of your own feelings. Neuroscience shows that when our bids for connection calls, messages, eye contact are ignored or rejected, our brain lights up in the same regions as when the body experiences physical injury. This is not drama or exaggeration. It's the interplay of neural pathways and emotion, where emotional pain registers like a bruise. Recognizing that your pain is biological, not merely weakness, allows you to understand that feeling hurt isn't self-blame. It's an alarm signaling that the relationship has veered off its secure course. Here lies the problem breakthrough. If you continue responding as before, forcing closeness or silently enduring, you only reinforce your partner's avoidant instincts, fortify their invisible walls. The solution isn't about crashing through those walls hastily, but about confronting your pain head-on, acknowledging your right to feel hurt, and then crafting a strategy to recalibrate how you pursue connection. Next, we will explore how to shift from passively burying emotions to actively protecting yourself, setting boundaries, and nurturing a secure bond. Having grasped the biological and psychological pain of constant avoidance, we must move beyond problem identification to concrete actions that shift the relationship from passive endurance to active protection. Below are 5 evidence-based strategies to help you respond securely and foster a more resilient connection with an avoidant partner. 1. Name the pattern. Don't blame. Rather than accusing, gently state, "I've noticed that when I try to talk about our feelings, you tend to go silent. That makes me feel disconnected." This phrasing simply names the behavior without labeling it as a character flaw. According to Mikulincer and Shaver, 2007, a curiosity-driven, empathetic approach like this lowers defensiveness in avoidance, opening the door to listening. 2. Self-soothing before engagement. When you feel disappointment or anger welling up, pause and practice self-soothing. Take deep breaths. Ground yourself by noticing your feet on the floor or the cool air in your lungs, and jot a quick journal note about your current emotion. This regulation step prevents emotional flooding that would otherwise trigger further withdrawal. 3. Set boundaries with compassion. Agree in advance. If we can't talk through this within 30 minutes, I'll step away, and we'll reconvene tomorrow at 7 p.m. Establishing a clear time frame creates predictability and reduces the abrupt emotional demands that avoidants truly appreciate more than spontaneous outbursts. C. Offer small invitations, not big demand. Instead of demanding a 2-hour heart-to-heart, try, "Could we sit together for 5 minutes tonight and share one positive thing from today?" Tiny doses of connection like this feel safer, allowing your partner to open up gradually without feeling emotionally overwhelmed. 5. Double down on your own support network. Alongside your efforts in the relationship, cultivate friends, support groups, or a therapist. When avoidance surfaces, you'll have alternate emotional resources and won't feel abandoned or alone. This safety net will buffer your heart and reduce pressure on the primary relationship. Practicing all 5 strategies simultaneously crafts a secure context where you express your needs clearly without yelling, judging, or begging. The key is maintaining boundaries, steadfast yet flexible, composed yet expressive. It is within this balanced space that an avoidant partner can sense safety, reduce their fear, and gradually move toward genuine intimacy. When you step out of the loop of sudden withdrawals and chases, the healing journey becomes a step-by-step process of rebuilding your relationship with yourself first. Your heart has grown accustomed to the pain of being left behind and the instinct to go silent for protection. Now it's time to learn to listen and nurture your true inner needs. Begin by giving yourself a moment of stillness. Each day, spend 5 minutes seated quietly, focusing on your breath, allowing each inhale and exhale to guide you back to your body and a basic sense of safety. Next, keep a non-judgmental emotion journal. Whenever feelings of anxiety or loneliness arise, write down exactly what you're experiencing, where it originates, and what you need at that moment. This exercise helps you identify your pain points and gradually build your capacity for self-compassion, a cornerstone of inner confidence. As you start treating yourself like a true friend, your heart will relearn to open without fear. Alongside, cultivate connections with those who understand and support you. It might be close friends, a psychological support group, or a professional therapist. Every honest conversation, every empathetic glance acts as medicine to reinforce that you deserve to be heard and valued. Over time, you will learn to lean on this safety network whenever your primary relationship withdraws. An equally important step is to establish daily self-care routines, from gentle exercise and nutritious meals to reading or listening to calming music. Remember, your body is not merely a vessel for existence, but the home for your emotions. When you care for this home, you strengthen your resilience against emotional upheaval. Finally, practice patience and forgiveness toward yourself first. There will be times you feel disheartened, vulnerable, or slip back into old patterns. Those moments signal that you're learning a new emotional language. Each time you rise after a stumble, each time you set a boundary and uphold it, you affirm your self-worth and honor your need for safety. The healing journey has no fixed destination. It is the series of days you choose to love and protect yourself. If you recognize these avoidant patterns in your relationship, remember, it's not your fault, and you don't need to fix them overnight. Your goal is to build a secure base for yourself first, and then, organically, for your partner. Start with small shifts in how you invite connection. Instead of pressing, offer clear structure. Instead of blaming, speak with compassion. Begin by setting one small boundary. I need 5 minutes to calm down before we continue this conversation. Next, extend one gentle invitation. Could we sit together for 3 minutes and share one thing we're grateful for today? Finally, invest in your own security. Lean on trusted friends. Seek therapy, or spend time on a personal hobby. When you fortify your inner foundation, their withdrawal won't cut as deeply. The path to healing from avoidant dynamics is never linear. There will be moments you stumble, days you feel unsteady, and times you want to give up. Yet each mindful boundary you set, every calm invitation you extend, every moment you choose yourself over the chase is a step toward freedom. You deserve a love where vulnerability isn't a trap, but a bridge to genuine intimacy. So today, I invite you, write down one small boundary you can establish and one self-care ritual you're ready to start. Share it in the comments, because the moment you reclaim the right to care for yourself is the moment you begin to transform both your relationship and yourself.